Oh. Sir. Sir. Bran, what are you doing? Sir. Croiso friends, welcome back to Opus Elenae, where we have to make concessions to the Texas heat. My SCA kingdom on Steora is starting to have more events, and while I am immeasurably glad that these events are largely outdoors for COVID reasons, we are starting the annual cycle of Texas is the same temperature as the surface of the fucking sun, which means it's time for my personal annual cycle of I only wear Roman clothes in the summer. Seeing as my partner is coming over to my brilliant way of thinking, I wanted to make us a set of coordinating Roman outfits to wear during the hottest parts of the year. Masculine Roman clothing is pretty easy. A tunica made from 2 pieces of fabric sewn together at the shoulders and sides, leaving holes for arms and head. A toga may be added for citizens or senators. As far as feminine clothing goes, you may be most familiar with this concept. A long sleeveless dress called a stola with a wide boat neck and fastenings at the shoulders and occasionally down the arms as well. Personally, I don't super love this particular version of this dress. I find it blouses weirdly on me at the bust and never drapes gracefully at the neck. Instead, I prefer this version from a fresco in the Villa of Mysteries at Pompeii, dating 60 to 50 BCE. I first learned to make this style of dress from a lovely woman in the SCA named Sherry. Instead of having the seams on the sides of the garment, like the more common boat-necked stola, this one shifts the seams to the front and back, with the V-neck being formed by leaving the top of that seam open. I know, it sounds confusing. Let me walk you through it. But first, everyone go grab your cuppa. Today, I am drinking Buddha Blend from David's Tea, a white tea with jasmine pearls, white hibiscus flowers, and stone fruit. It's light and refreshing, which is exactly what I want when I'm living on the surface of the sun. Let's get into it. The first thing I need to do is make a cute sketch because reasons. And then after that, I can make a cutting diagram for my stola and my partner's tunica. You can pause the video at the end to take a look at the dimensions that I used for these particular outfits, but if you want a more detailed breakdown, including our measurements and how to size things up or down for your body, go take a gander at my Ko-fi page. For my partner's tunica, I'll be disassembling a green stola I made years ago out of mid-weight linen. I generally prefer my stolas to be made from handkerchief weight linen, both for temperature concerns and for the floatiest drape. I'll begin by cutting the green down to the correct dimensions. You may have noticed that the front of the tunica is wider than the back. This will ensure that the back of the neckline will lay flat across the shoulders while the front drapes more comfortably open at the neck. I had some navy linen set aside for a slightly moodier stola and used some of the extra fabric for the clavii or stripes on both front and back of my partner's tunica. In the period, clavii would have been woven into the fabric from the beginning rather than added later, but as we've already discussed, I am allowed exactly 0 fabric looms in my current apartment. After cutting the navy fabric into strips 2.5 inches or 3.5 centimeters wide, I'll iron it in about ½ inch or 1 centimeter on each side, like the world's widest bias tape, except that it isn't really tape or even cut on the bias. In order to make sure the stripes line up properly at the shoulder seams, I'll measure a line 9 inches, 23 centimeters in from the side seams on both front and back pieces. This will serve as a guide for attaching the clavii. And a wild brand appears. Once the guides are marked out, I can get the clavii pinned and then sewn, making sure to stitch as close to the edge of the stripes as possible to look neat and clean. After the stripes are on, I can mark and pin the shoulder and side seams, leaving openings for the arms and head. This will be the last of the machine sewing on the tunica. All that's left to do is fell the seam allowances and hem the openings. I'm using the same navy 22 silk thread from A.O. & Weaver that I used in the runic ankle weaving video. I just really like the way that it sews, and the navy matches the clavii perfectly. Thank you to all of my current and continuing Ko-fi members, especially my newest members, Siobhan and Theo. Your support and the support of all my members and croissants makes it easier to do what I do and to provide quality content for everyone. Thank you so much. Stick around after this brief commercial break to see me make my Sola. I'm using a stola I made a few years ago and successfully dyed from an olive drab to a lovely herbal green color to double check my measurements since I love the way that this one fits. Here you can see the V neckline formed by the front seam remaining open at the top. The top edge of the stola will be sewn together starting at the corners of the open V, leaving an opening for the arms, and then gathered to form the shoulder straps of the dress. I'm sewing the two front and back seams on the machine for both ease and speed, and then I'll fill the seam allowances by hand, continuing that into hems along the open areas. Again, I'm using silk thread from A Window Weaver in pale pink this time instead of green because I don't want to be too matchy-matchy. After hemming, I'll use a whip stitch along the shoulder seams to secure front to back. And I forgot to get footage of the gathering process, but I just did a running stitch along the shoulder seam, pulled it tight, and secured it extra tightly by tying some silk thread around that gathered section, adding decorative buttons to simulate brooches. Thank you for coming along with me today, friends, and I hope you enjoyed this silly reveal as much as I enjoyed making it. I will put the schematics of these outfits up in a public-facing Ko-fi post, so if you want to see exactly how much fabric I used, to make these outfits, go on over there and check that out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you like getting notifications about new videos both sporadically and late. If you want to find me on social media, I am at Opus Illini everywhere, and all of those links will be in the description box below. I'll also post a link to my Ko-fi where you can leave a one-time tip, browse my shop, or join my membership tiers for additional content and a personal thank you of your very own in my next video. Until next time, be kind, do the work, continue supporting marginalized people, and keep creating. Will.